we decided that we wanted to do a video of the inside of our boat, and when I took this video, I was speaking to the phone. I decided that audio wasn't very good, so I'm going to redo this. This is our companionway. That's technically our front door. It is an insulated fabric, and I will show you a better video of how we go in and out of that door later in this video, but for now, this is essentially how we go down like a ladder and up like a ladder to get in and out of the boat. And you'll see some more video of that later. We'll transition over here to the nav station. A lot of this is where Mike would sit for work. We have a tablet there that's kind of all of our navigation and weather. We have a storage facility under there. This is our breaker panel. We pretty much control everything from here. We have a whiteboard where we keep all of our current jobs and tasks. It's starting to diminish, which is nice. But essentially this does everything. That's where our engine is under that door. That's where we control our water. That's our fuel gauge. This is some sort of propane sniffer, I believe, is what he told me. I've never really looked at that gauge very much, so not really 100% sure what that is. Those are our port lights. Those are brand new port lights that Mike installed last year because the others were leaking. That you turn those little knobs to take off my janky curtains I made, and you lift up the port light and it just stays up like my hand just showed you there. And we also have some screens that we keep bugs out that we can stick in there. As we move into the salon or saloon, depending on how you refer to it as, you'll see our couch area known as a settee. That is our main table. It's the only table we have. We use it for everything. Sitting, eating, playing games. Got some storage back here for all of our books and manuals. We have our candy box. We're in that all the time. Lots of different storage. Video may or may not be focusing on exactly what I wanted it to focus on the more I look at this, but you know, that's how you learn. Essentially, this is just where we store a lot of those are our handheld radios that we use when we are underway. It just helps because you can't really hear very well when you're down below or up above. There's our calendar for Thomas's diabetes changes for his site. So we're going to go back to the nav station here. Mike wanted to point some things out. I do not remember everything he told me in this video because I don't really deal with the nav station a whole lot. I'm in charge of a lot of other things, so I sort of leave this to him. But essentially, there's a water maker control that I don't know what I'm pointing at here, to be honest. I don't even remember. Lots and lots of technology. That is our router for our Starlink. It's our ditch bag, which if we ever have to literally get off the boat in a hurry. I believe that's the water maker controls. More displays and manuals. A bunch of devices that he uses for various things. Underneath that bench down there is where we keep our life jackets. That's our EPIRB. That's a beacon that goes off if we have to abandon the boat. Like I said, that's more storage underneath. It's a desk. It's where just a lot of our very important stuff is. Some drawers where we keep our office supplies. For some reason, I felt necessary to open up every cabinet we have. I'm not sure why, but you get it. It's just just like any house or any home that you live in, you just have a lot of stuff. In that box right there is our sextant that Mike was given as a gift when he retired. We're still trying to learn how to use it. It's not easy. It's an interesting version of navigation, the old school style. That's our wet weather gear coats. Usually we hang up our life jackets up there too when we're underway. As you can see, I'm not hugely into the decorating. I just don't feel like it's necessary because I need everything to be functional in the boat. Underneath our couch, we have an air conditioning unit, some supplies, some paper towels and toilet paper and tissues. And then on the right side over here is where Thomas keeps all his diabetes supplies, which is the only place we could find to put it. This is a cooler that we bought in case our refrigerators go out. It plugs into the 12 volt, just kind of as a backup in case anything ever happens. We have a bench that we use for seating. That's where all of our snacks and chips are. The previous owner sort of took out all of the rest of the couch, and so we just had to have some sort of extra seating, so we just added these little boxes and benches, which is, you know, the best we could come up with. That's our mast and our googly eyes that Mia added to it. Those are our hatches. Obviously those open up. You can either get out of them if you need to or get in them if you need to, although it's not super easy to do. But it opens and angles at different angles for you to allow breeze to come in. Not really sure why I pointed to every single window, but you know, live and learn. I'm still pointing at this. It's apparently a very important space over here, although we do spend a lot of time in it, so I guess that makes sense. As you turn around, you're going to see our, what I call the bar area. So we have our refrigerators and our freezers. This used to be some seating area that was taken out by the previous owner. He put in this countertop and these refrigerators. And one of the other, which we really like these fridges. We've had a little bit of trouble with them from time to time, but we've fixed them over time. It's just a matter of keeping them clean and so that they don't begin to freeze up. But it's been a relatively easy thing to fix, but we're very grateful to have them. It's a lot more refrigerator space than a lot of boats have. Over, apparently you needed to see the puzzles and the games that we play. When I go back and look at this video, I sort of laugh. I'm like, why was I pointing at these things? But anyway, obviously you can see where we keep our fruits and veggies and bread and cereals. You know, it's not ideal, it's not pretty to look at, but I really don't care. It's functional, and that is all that's important to us. That's my really handy dandy ice maker that I got on sale, which just made me excited last summer because we can't really keep a lot of ice in the freezer, so I make it little small bags at a time, which is just nice to have. That's our liquor cabinet. Just bottles and soda stream bottles and stuff that we keep handy because those don't fit in a cabinet very well. More of a pantry cabinet up here where we keep a lot of things like cereals and oatmeal. That is our printer. The kids use it every day for school. Our soda stream syrups. Down there is a DVD player, and we'll show you why in a minute. And I believe this is where I'm going to show you why we have a DVD player right there. Ooh, are you fascinated yet? This was actually installed by the previous owner, so we're really grateful that he did this. Although Mike did have to reinstall a new TV in that space. That is a 55-inch TV. It was not easy to get in there, but it's a pretty genius invention that we are able to stow our TV away. Even during a really big storm that we had offshore, that TV survived. We were very excited. I was so afraid that thing had cracked. But it's a really nice luxury to have. We can watch movies and stream movies. We can watch DVDs if we want. He can even take his tablet and cast it up there, and we can see our route, any weather, things of that nature, which is just like cool to see when it's not just on a tablet. And then it just goes right back down. And we want to put it away for the night, so we don't leave it up very often. We just usually use it at night. So this goes into our galley. Our galley is essentially the kitchen. Right now I'm cooking in this video, so I don't have a board on top. But it's a 3-burner propane stove, 2 shelves inside the oven. There's our very deep sink, which I really like. And there's a second sink to your left underneath that drainer, where we keep the pots and pans. We have a touchscreen faucet, a soap dispenser. Keep my green onions right there. We have a lot of kitchen storage, more so I think than a lot of boats do in terms of just overall space. I feel like it's crowded because I do have a lot of stuff, but I have figured out what I can and can't keep in there. Keep our spices back there. Obviously, there's some mixing bowls in there, some baking bowls in there. This is where we keep our more spices. That's an air fryer, which we use quite a bit, and a toaster. That's our spices. Coffee cups. This is where we keep our plates and bowls. Our coffee, very important. And down below, underneath the coffee maker, which I didn't show you, is a deep well, which used to be the refrigerator from when the boat was built in the 80s. Those are our lights that Mike installed. They go from off to white to red. Red is great at night when you don't want to shine a light in people's face. This is our trash can. So it leans out, you can let go of it, and it stays there, and then you can put it back. It's pretty cool. You can't store knives anywhere else, so we put this magnet rack. We have a lot more little cabinets behind us. I put in some lights, some battery lights, because they're so dark to see. That's my grocery list and my menu list. Those are our drawers that keep our silverware in, and then these cabinets, I put in more lights for things like coffee and tea, and all of our baking goods like flour and sugar and anything that didn't really have any other room for on the countertop. So as you leave the salon galley area and go towards the front of the boat, this is going forward. This goes into the main cabin. This is where Mike and I are. It's kind of a small space, but we're okay with it because we're usually just sleeping, or sometimes I'm sitting in here watching stuff on my phone when the kids take over the TV. 3 drawers, 4 drawers under the bed. That's our air conditioning vent over there on the right. This is where I keep all of my hair, makeup, beauty supplies. Obviously I can hang up some clothes there, my hats. That whole side over here is pretty much mine, but I do keep a lot of stuff back there for medicine and clothes that I just don't really have any other room for. Back there we added some new lighting, which is faded lighting where it can go bright and dark. Underneath our bed we have a lot of storage. Things like extra shoes, extra clothes. We keep our duffel bags under there. We even have an extra anchor in case something ever happens to our anchor. So we just keep a lot under there, and you have to lift the mattress to get to it. That's Mike's side where he keeps some stuff. He doesn't keep a lot of stuff by the bed. This, oh, I guess I closed the door. I'd forgotten that in the video. Look at the creeper. This is Mike's side. That's his hanging locker, his dresser. That's got 3 drawers down the front. Keeps his hats. We have a dirty clothes bag that we keep behind the door. And a folding chair. And that is essentially our cabin. We do have the lights, the red lights, which is nice if we have to get up in the middle of the night and we don't want to, blind each other. We can just turn on the red lights. And it's just a little more ambient lighting as well. We go from our cabin into our head, which is the main head that everybody uses the bulk of the time. It's not too bad for space. Obviously you have a toilet and the plush control there. Sink, lots of different, I think there used to be a door on that, but we decided we didn't really want to add it back. It was just too much trouble, so we just kind of keep everything relatively handy. There's a mirror. Obviously a port light and a fan. That's a tiny little hatch that lets air in when you need it. And our towels. Now this goes into our shower. It is a full stand-up shower with a bench in it. It is tall enough that even Mike can take a shower in it, which is bonus because that was one of the things we looked for. I don't like my shower curtain there. I'm going to replace that eventually. But this is a relatively roomy shower, in my opinion. We've enjoyed it. I've seen smaller showers, so I'm grateful for it. And it's not a full wet head, meaning that the whole bathroom doesn't get soaking wet when you use it, which some showers or some sailboat bathrooms do, which is kind of annoying. You got to go through the shower to get to what we call the bow cabin. Now the bow cabin is not particularly attractive. I will warn you now. It's a lot like our garage or a basement or just a storage room. It has pretty much everything that we can't fit anywhere else. I spent a lot of time kind of going over this room for some particular reason, like you seem to need to know every single thing we have in here, but essentially if we can't find it anywhere else in the boat, it's probably in this cabin. We didn't redo this room because we just didn't want to spend the money, but we keep so much stuff in here, probably a little more than we should, but it is super handy when you need it. You just never know. And we don't have extra sails that we have to put in here for now. If we did, we probably wouldn't be able to keep this much stuff in here. But we do sometimes put fenders in here, or wet lines. This is where we put our lines when we cast off from a marina. That is all fiberglass, which, like I said, it needs to be completely redone. The whole bow cabin is not particularly for everyone to see, but here it is. We keep extra food in some of those red boxes, just canned goods and snacks and treats, and every little box has something in it. It could be laundry stuff, could be games, grocery bags, extra life jackets. We have some snorkeling stuff. I have a sewing machine up there. There's my Instapot. Just a little bit of everything. And I've so much stuff in there, and I'm making sure that I might be able to tick it off in my head, but it's just a lot. And it is, because it's kind of in a pointy triangular shape, it's not exactly easy to store in just your typical way. So you kind of got to get creative. We've got all those pipes and hoses are for the shower or the pump out. Some drawers down there. Obviously, that white thing right there is our holding tank for the potty. And we keep just brushes for cleaning. That blue bag has our grill stuff in it. That's our gaff, which is a really sharp, pokey hook that you basically kill fish with whenever you catch them, or I guess anything else you really need to poke. That's our windlass motor, which helps pull up our anchor. We'd never be able to pull up the anchor on our own, it's too heavy. So we have a little motor there that helps us. And on the other side of that wall is our chain for the anchor. But that's essentially our bow cabin, which is why we don't have a V-berth cabin, which is why our cabin is not as big, because we have this, which we're grateful for, because we don't really have hardly any floor storage or lockers to put a whole lot of stuff in. So this is our solution to that. So as we come back into the main part of the boat, there's a door on the left and the right. This is the aft, or the back part of the boat. The cabin on the left is Thomas's. The cabin on the right is Mia's, or actually really if you turn it the other way around, it's really Mia's is on the port side, Thomas's on the starboard side. But when you go in, there is a door. That door goes into the kid's head. Now, they don't use that one as a head unless we're like so many miles offshore, but they use this for brushing teeth, and all their bathroom stuff is in here, and they keep their towels and their toothbrush and all your typical bathroom stuff. So they each have a place. It's a little small in there for the two of them, but they rarely ever need to be in there at the same time. That is the thermostat for their air conditioner, which is in that cabinet. And that's the other side of the engine room. And then when you go into Mia's room, I made these little privacy curtains for both of them, so that when the doors are open, they, we're not staring at them from the salon. And she's got a hanging locker where she keeps her clothes. She's got drawers under the bed. She's got a lot of stuff. As you can see, she's maybe mildly a hoarder. She likes her stuff and she doesn't like to get rid of it. They have an air conditioning vent. That's an old speaker. She keeps a guitar, which she plays a lot, and a full-length mirror. When you take down her curtain, voila, there she is. And all her stuff. That's her school stuff. She does school every day on her bed. She's got a lot of little shelves that she keeps little knickknacks in. Port lights and a hatch. And her stuffies hanging in her little net. And her fan. It's a nice little hole that she can stay in, and it has quite a bit of space to get dressed and stuff. This is Thomas's side. It's essentially exactly like Mia's, except the opposite side. And just flip-flop it. The only real difference is that instead of there being a head, which there used to be here on the left, this particular room, which was a bathroom, has been turned into our what I call the engineer room, which is really the generator room. It has a generator, a water maker, all of our tools, all of our mechanical bits and bobs, and just anything you can imagine. Essentially, this would really, I guess, be like the garage, because it has all the man stuff. This is Mike's room. Essentially, he has put this whole thing together and organized it. You go into Thomas's room. Like I said, it's just like Mia's, it's just flipped. He has a lot of crap too. Anyway, so here we are back to the companionway, and I was going to show you how we go out. We flip up the door, we slide open the door as far back as it'll go, and we go up the ladder. This is our cockpit. And when you turn around, so you can see down into there. That's where we were. And you slide the door back and close the little door. It is insulated, so it kept us really warm this winter and keeps us pretty cool in the summer. This is our cockpit enclosure. All that's isinglass. Those doors unzip and roll up and snap. You can also take all of these sides off if you just don't want them on at all, like in the summertime when it's really hot. This is the bimini, which is waterproof fabric, essentially. Holds up well in rain and sun. These are cool little boxes that we keep in the cockpit. We put our cups and water bottles and phones and stuff in. That's our chart plotter. Those are more screens that we use for all of our navigation stuff, like our depth and our direction. This is, I think some people call it the pedestal or the helm station. It's where we put the wheel to our, when we want to steer, and it goes right there. There's a compass, and we also put the tablet there. This is coming outside of the cockpit, outside of the enclosure on the aft deck. This is our boom, which needs to be re-powder coated. That's our mainsail. Goes all the way up when we put the sails up. This is the top of our bimini, and this opens up and has a little window. So when you're sitting and steering, you can look up at the sails. This is the stern. We added those seats. That is our new grill. It's not new, but it's a grill that we added. That is our princess seats that we had a friend of ours make cushions for, which is handy. We have a ladder that goes down. That's our dinghy, which we can let down and pull up. And there's our solar panels. And this whole thing right here is called an arch. We had it built. That's our Starlink and some antennas that we need for Wi-Fi and various internet controls. If you hear it creaking in the background of this video, it's because we are rocking pretty good in the marina tonight, and so there's that sound that the boat makes. This is where we keep, there's a locker down there that has a, what we call the washdown locker. It has a hose and a spigot in it. That's our wagon. Those are water tanks, or I'm sorry, water cans. And we usually store those. They're usually covered. This is going down the starboard side of the boat toward the front. And this little open area right here is how we get on and off the boat. Sometimes we have to pull it over to reach the dock. Again, this is just continuing to go forward. Those are the hatches that look down into the salon and the galley. That's our mast, which you saw down inside when we were in there earlier. This is how we fill up our water tanks when we're not using our water maker. Just get a hose, put a filter on it, and you just open up those little things there, and the water goes inside. That's where we fill up our fuel. It's diesel. And as we move forward, that's our cabin. I don't know why I'm going so fast in this video, but that is where we do the pump out for the holding tank. That is our Genoa sail, which is the front sail you see on the boat. As we go forward, we have the anchor chain comes back, goes down into that locker, and then our windlass is that thing that was sitting on the deck that pulls our anchor up right there, and then we have our shore power electric lines. And that's our radar and our courtesy flags. And at the top of our mast, which I'm not very good at showing you in this video, is our wind instruments. It tells us the direction the wind is coming from, tells us what our wind speed is down in our instruments below. So it's just way up there. That's a 72-foot mast. It goes way up there. And most bridges are only 73 feet, so we really only have about a foot of clearance, which can get really nerve-wracking. As we go back down the port side, going toward the back of the boat, that's where we keep our steering wheel when we're not using it, because it really just gets in the way in the cockpit. We have our fuel tanks. I'm sorry, our fuel jerry cans. I'm not sure why they're called a jerry can. It's just a weird word. But, oh, and we're back to showing you what pump out looks like. In this particular marina, they have a pump out cart that you just take down and pump it out directly into the pipes there, which is super handy because otherwise you have to drive the boat to a pump out station all the time, and it's just really annoying because you don't want to pump out in the marina because that's gross. And this is Mia putting the water in the water tanks with the filter. That's like those little RV water filters. And apparently I decided to take a video of a jet going over. These are our hatch covers that we had made by this really sweet lady near where my mom lives. And they basically just cover up the hatches when we don't want the sun in. Also helps kind of keeps the heat out as well. If you cover them up, you don't get nearly as hot or nearly as cold, which is pretty cool. So in this lovely view of the sunset, we would just happen to be in Gulfport at this time, Mississippi that is, and we were just having a good old time while we were here. There's an aquarium, he's downtown. We discovered that we liked walking around in this town. We just wish there would have been a grocery store a little closer. The only time that we really had to get an Uber was when we had to go to a store. There's a beach over there. It was just a nice overall stay here. Stayed a little longer than we wanted. We had tried to leave a couple of times, but been having engine issues for a while and really needed to get those resolved before we left, so we didn't really get stranded somewhere and have to get towed again. So we just felt like it was best to stay for as long as we could. We had the marina slip paid up for 2 months, so we thought, let's just stay. It's a nice place. Everybody on this pier is really super nice. We've met a lot of really great people, and we've enjoyed. The weather's been pleasant. Anyway, this is pretty much the end of our video. There's our cockpit, all nice and clean. Thank you all for watching. I hope it was helpful. Hope you learned something about what our sailboat looks like. And now that I've learned all the good, cool words, I'm going to teach them to you. Thanks again for watching. Bye.